If you've got an Opel Vivaro and you notice that the armrest is too low and it won't come up to height when you're driving, this is how you fix it. So this is the arm and it's sitting too low, and when you're driving it actually puts your hand near to the steering wheel, but it's not really comfortable. So basically this is your arm. Unzip the seat and then take this cap off here. Once you get that cap off, if you come in here, you have to pull all this foam back. You probably have to slit that foam, but you can hide that, but you'll find a little spring, and I'll just show you the spring. So I took mine off, and it's this little spring here. This sits inside the arm. Just pop that off. If you pop that spring off, then what happens, this comes off, and then you get your arm and take your arm off. Then what you need to do is get this material and fold it back, push that foam back, push that foam back in there. I'm trying to do this with one hand, but never mind. This is going to bring you down to this console here, and there's 3 screws. You can see them, 1, 2, and there's another one down there. Take off them 3 screws. I've got to mention you will need a number 3 spline key. Then you are presented with this. So you need to take this console completely out. That literally just slides off. I'll take it out and then I'll show you what's inside. So what you are presented with is this, and inside this sits this. That sits in there like so. No, it doesn't. It sits in there like so. Left and right. So that sits in there like that. And then this, if you look at this little bit here, when that's turned over, when your arm moves up and down, to lock the arm in the up position, this slides round, and this obviously sits in there like that. So when you move your arm up and down, that's your arm movement, and then it locks back in place. So that's arm up and that's arm down. Now what happens is, when they made these vans, there's a lock. So if you see this piece here, when that spins round, that's your final resting place down. So that means when that's going around there like that, that's going too far down. So what we need to do is fill in this little gap here. So basically when the arm comes around, it can't go down as low, so you need to fill this gap. Now what I did, I just got a bit of metal. It's probably, I don't know, it's probably 1.2, 1.5 maybe, off an old tool which I wasn't using, so I grinded it down. Then what we do, we get a bit of double-sided tape or glue, and we stick that in there and stick it to the body so it won't come out. So then when you put this back in, it spins out of there, but this stop, which is this stop what runs up against this stop goes round and it can't go down as far, thus giving you a higher arm when you put your armrest down in the driver's seat. It can only go to there, you see. So that's going to give you, well, I wouldn't even actually go that far. I just done this once already and it was too high, so I'm going to probably take 2 or 3 mil off this again, just to give it that extra bit more height. So I've cut down my bit of metal. So now all we're doing is extending this stop. So that stop makes the arm go too low, so we put that in there. That's probably about 4 mil. So when that stop comes around here, that will stop there, and it will stop your arm from going too low, and that's probably about where you want it. It's probably going to be level if you've got your driving seat at the correct position. So when you're putting this piece back in, as you can see in there, this wants to be sitting around there. So obviously slide that back on like so. That goes along there and sits in there. As you can see, we've got that back in there, and you want it kind of sitting around there. Now we have to put this bit back in, which goes that way. The R goes to the top, and put that back in. I'll come back after I put that back in. I can only need 2 hands. Sorry, change of plan. Put that outside bracket back on first, because you have to put it in here and then it locks in, you see, as you can twist. So it's like a twist lock mechanism. Now you have that back in place. Put the 3 screws back in, 1, 2 and 3. Now that's done, we need to get the arm back on and the spring, which is here. Now you have that done, push your seat back, and obviously you push that on that holds the clip. What we just put back on was will hold the arm on. Then you push that back on, put your clip back on, and the final result is perfect driving height. There you go, and that is how you do it.